Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Allan Eyden here at the Winchester High School, and we are covering here at WinCAM the third session of Winchester's Fall Town Meeting. Despite attempts by the moderator, we were not able to wrap up the Fall Town Meeting, and we'll meet again on Thursday. So let's recap what happened tonight. We opened with comments from the moderator stressing civility at town meeting, the importance of the legislative branch, being this town meeting, and she said she is here to encourage civil participation. Moving on to Article 11, which was $155,000 to purchase a piece of land in the Waterfield parking lot downtown from the MBTA. That piece of land is actually the entrance to that lot next to the adjacent building. It is necessary for the development of the lot. That was passed for $155,000. We heard a presentation on some of the problems here in the high school with the original 1970 part of the building that was not demolished during the renovation a few years ago, during the reconstruction rather. There are flooring issues and there are problems with concrete and the crawl spaces under. These issues seem to be accelerating, and there are some instances of rebar coming through the surfaces. So the $100,000 was not to repair these, but do an engineering study to find out how much it was going to cost and what's involved in repairing it. That was passed. Article 14, and again, if you notice, we skipped some of the articles. Several of the articles, about 10 of the articles, were passed on a consent agenda at the beginning of town meeting. So they are essentially, town meeting did not consider them debatable, or did not anticipate debate on them, rather. Article 14 was to accept a Mass General law that says that rental income that the town gets from school property that is not in active use can be spent without further action by the school committee for the upkeep and maintenance of any school property. That passed. 17 was to appropriate $50,000 received from Eversource for their use of the property on Davidson and Washington Street parks during the reconstruction and to do for improvements to the parks. That was just to appropriate the $50,000 received from Eversource, and that passed. Article 18 was an article to appropriate up to $3.5 million, which was an estimate for solar panels for the rebuilding of Lynch School. Some yelling down on the floor, not sure what's going on down there, but we heard that Lynch is going to be an all-electric building, striving for net zero energy use. The work would include solar panels and the structural issues to support and to utilize the solar panels, such as conduits. Federal incentives are only available for owned, not leased panels, and that would be about $800,000. We heard the excess energy generated in the summer can be credited on town's future energy bills. 2 out of 3 current panels on town buildings are producing excess energy. That was passed overwhelmingly. Article 19 was an article to authorize the select board to enter into a power purchase program should the bids for the solar panels exceed the $3.5 million that town meeting just authorized. That also passed. Article 20 was to $94,000 to supplement the opioid settlement fund. Again, that was money that was received by the town, deposited in the general fund, and needed to be appropriated for the intended use. That passed. Article 22 was about $1 million to transfer to this healthcare stabilization fund from free cash. The Finance Committee voted against that. They said they wanted to keep the funds in free cash, that this reduced the flexibility to be able to use free cash. There was a motion to amend it to $362,285 to maintain a 5% fund. That passed. However, a town meeting member made a motion to keep all the money in the free cash for maximum flexibility, and that failed. Article 24 was just some housekeeping articles to move some money from the Capital Stabilization Fund to debt interest, from free cash to Veteran Services, and from free cash to DPW. All of those passed. Article 26 to increase the Recreation Department funds by $287,000 to match their revenues. They are an enterprise fund. That was passed. And the most contentious articles of the evening was Article 29, a citizen's petition to amend the Code of Bylaws for the town to change the structure of the Finance Committee. I won't go into the details here, but he said this Finance Committee should provide balanced advice, should be balanced across, the composition of the committee should be balanced across precincts. He said the Finance Committee has not provided advance information to town meeting or minutes of their meetings. Their recommendations should be in the motion book, the proponent said. And he claimed that we are out of step with other towns. There was a motion, actually the proponent made a motion to amend his article to not change the bylaws, but refer it to a study committee for presentation to the fall town meeting. That failed. It got a little convoluted at that point. First of all, the town meeting had to take a vote to decide whether they should continue, and that involved some debate too. And finally, whether the moderator had the right to do that, which she did. And finally, there was a motion to continue the meeting, even at the late hour. And finally, the motion to amend the original motion, the original Article 29, to refer to a study committee failed. And then there was a motion to indefinitely postpone Article 29, which, as you just saw a few minutes ago, passed. And that's where we stand. Town meeting will reconvene this Thursday to hopefully finish up its business, beginning with Article 30. We'll be here for that coverage, and we invite you to come back here Thursday night. We thank you for staying up till this late hour. For all of us here at WinCAM, I'm Allan Eyden. Have a good night.